Now, project scope. Now, project scope have 5 steps. And in that, we have a scope initiation, which is the first step. And that ensures that the project cover all but only the work required. So we have to come up with a project scope first. And that is what your first task for this assessment. So when you're coming up with a project scope, you look at the 5 stage in the project scope. You'll come up with the scope initiation, and you decide within your team and that the act of starting something at the first time, how you are going to do that. Um, Scope planning, then you are going to plan the process and give the details of the project scope, where you are going to work on the work breakdown structure and coming up with the activities. Then scope definition, then you are going to define each activity. And in when you are defining each activity, that is where you are looking into the what type of construction method you are going to use for these the work packages and activities you need to perform for your construction. And then scope verification, then you are going to verify the scope. Remember, we got a formative assessment where you are going to verify the scope with us. And normally in construction, in real life, we go and verify the scope with the main contractor, and we verify the scope with the client as well. And that is where, or that is when the client tells you if they need any changes or any other requirement they have. So that is the point where you should be asking to client if you need any changes or anything. So, and then you have a scope change control, where you are going to make any changes based on the stakeholders, based on the client or your customer. So this is a project scope that has the 5 stages, and this is your first task where you should be looking into how and what need to be developed and how you are going to do it, and come up with a statement for that. Now, project time. Now, time in the project is to determine which activities should take place, how much time or how much duration it will require. So as an example, your first work package is demolition. So you are going to demolish the building. How long it will take to demolish the building, how long it will take to dump the waste somewhere or send it to for the recycling center, or to any other activities which is required. Do you need any cranes, or do you need anything else? So all these, how much time it will take for demolition. So based on all the activities, what do you need first? So activity sequencing, what do you need first for to demolish a building? Obviously, you need to appoint a contractor. And with that contractor, what other activities they require, or what other activities do you require? So you might need to appoint a transport services as well to take out. You might need to hire skips as well. So all these activities you should be sequencing. And once you sequence that, you can allocate the time, the duration, and you can allocate the cost as well based on the time. So, and then you are looking at the duration estimating based on the activity and schedule development. Then you can develop your schedule that how long it will take. And when you are working on Ashtapower project or project management Microsoft project, then you enter the activities and you enter the duration, it will automatically create a schedule for you. And then you control the schedule based when you're actually working on it. So it could be, for example, you need to demolish the site today, and you have to start today, but today the weather is really bad, you can't do that, or something happened on the roadside, and because of the health and safety you can't work on it. So you have to go back and modify the schedule. And these things happen in the real life, in the real construction scenario. So that was the project time. And once you know the time of each activity, each task, then you can allocate the cost to each task. Now, the work packages, you have 5 work packages. Normally, how project managers work, once they know what is the budget of the construction. So let's say 10 million is the budget, and you need to deliver 5 work packages, which is given on your assessment. So those 5 work packages, sometimes they allocate equal budget for each work package. So out of 10 million, 2 million for one work package 1, 2 million for work package 2. And that is all about estimating. Now you can estimate your development based on how much it will cost, based on the floor area, or based on per square meter or per square feet, the construction cost of per square meter per square feet, or demolition cost of per square meter or per square feet, or the floor area. You can estimate the cost. And when you estimate the cost, you can allocate budget to that particular work package. And once you have all the activities in that work package, you can allocate cost to each activity as well. Then once you know how much cost you have allocated or you have available for each work package, then you can look into the budgeting. How can you budget that for each activity? And then you have to control the cost as well. So controlling the cost is also important. Now, I have put here lean thinking, which we will talk about later on, but very quickly, lean thinking is an approach. Do anybody know about what is lean thinking? Have you ever heard about it? No. Okay, so lean thinking, that is a terminology comes from Toyota, Japan. That has been used in automobile industry earlier, but now it's been used in construction. Because construction is also being considered as an assembly point, offsite construction or offsite manufacturing. We manufacture things in factory setup and bringing on the construction site and assembling it there. So lean thinking is something where we are trying to reduce the waste, not the physical waste, but other different type of waste. For example, waste of excess transportation. Why should we transport the material 5 times a day? Why can't we do it 1 time a day? So these are the things we apply to lean thinking, and we try to reduce the waste. And when we reduce the activities and when we reduce the waste, it reduces the cost of the project as well. So in one of the lecture, we will talk about lean thinking and how can we apply to construction, which is not directly related with your assessment, but when you are talking about the sequencing, it could be beneficial. So project quality. Now the project quality is what is the desired quality, and you can come up with the project quality based on the building standard and the building regulation part A to R, which talks the approved documents. And I believe you already know about what are the approved documents. In one of the module earlier, you might have gone through with the approved documents from building regulation part A to R. And that talks about the structure of the property, that talks about the ventilation and electrical and all those safety and health and safety as well. So based on that, how much cost is required to match the building standards? To match the building standard and then to match the quality of the product. So we need to plan for the quality from the beginning. And once we plan for the quality, we need to assure that we are meeting the quality standards, and we need to control those standards as well. So again, in a project, we need a project scope. We need to understand the durations of each activity, and the scope of the project is already given on your assignment, which is your development, and it's 18-story development office blocks. We need to understand the time, the duration, how long it will take. And I have read on your assignment, it says somewhere that you need to complete the project as early as possible. So the shorter the duration, much better it will be, but it need to be realistic. It's not like you are going to put 3 months, but you cannot finish it in 3 months time. So it need to be realistic duration, because 3 months it might take just to get the planning permission from the council. And then the project cost, how much it will cost, and what quality you are delivering, based on the quality standards and based on what is required. So you don't need to talk about the quality in your assessment, but you will be talking about the time and the cost, the project scope. So are we okay so far, or do you have any question? So the core knowledge areas of a project is, or for your construction project is, you need to understand the project scope, which is given on your assignment. You need to plan for it, and you need to define your project scope. Uh, Time, where is the activity definition, sequencing, duration, and the schedule development. And we will work on an exercise today, which will give you an idea how can we come up with the work breakdown package. And the project cost, which is resource planning, cost estimating, budget estimating as well. So resource planning, how many people are, or how many resources, or what material or how many machines are required to perform each activity. And then we need the quality planning and the quality monitoring and assurance as well. So these are the four main things, or at least the three main things you will be looking: project scope, project time, and project cost. And that is very important. These three elements you will require to come up with a precedence diagram and to work on either Astra Power project or Microsoft project application. Oh, construction process has the 5 work packages are already given to you on your assessment, so I won't take much long on this slide. So the how construction process work, we again, it is a project. So initiation process, how we are going to initiate the process of the construction. Planning, which is you are going to do within your group as soon as you form a group and form a team. Executing process, and then monitoring and controlling and closing the process. So this is the main process in the construction, and the closing where you are handing over the building to your clients. So executing process, where the main construction is happening. Before that, you are planning the process. Construction, then you monitor what is going on the construction site. Sometime you need to go back and fine tune the planning process based on what is happening on the construction. Um, for example, there could be any type of uncertainty. There could be any type of risk. So, for example, we had this pandemic, and because of that, most of the construction project was delayed. So, if that happened, then we need to go back and fine tune the planning. So, in such cases, we will do that. So, and that same similar diagram, which is given by Project Management Institute in 2013, and that talks about the initiation process and monitoring and controlling process, and then the exit phase as well, for which is the handover.